everyone, this is Lovecrafty Girl. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the calendar dividers and paper clips for the month of March and April. Now, I am behind with these two. It's just because I've been so busy that I keep forgetting to go back and do these two calendar dividers. I also have May, which I will also post up later on this week, but right now I want to go ahead and show you the two. Now, just so you guys know, if you actually like these printables, she also has a version on her website if you want it blank with no calendar. So let's say in my cases, mine have calendars and they're already, in 2 months behind. I still want to make sure that they're in my planner because I like to see it complete. But if you guys like these printables and the images, you can just go to her website. She's got the option with the calendar or without, and that way you guys can use it however you want. But for March, this is what it looks like. Super cute. Oh my gosh, llama in a mug, which I'm loving her her mug printables. I think they're super cute, and so I cannot wait to cut this one and put them all together. And then for the April, it's really pretty too. It's a coffee one, and I think it's so pretty, and the colors are great, as well as the two paper clips you get on this one. So I'm looking forward to putting these two together right now. So continue watching to see how these calendar dividers and paper clips come out. So I placed the paper inside the sheet protector, and now I'm going to go ahead and make my first line with my tool. Here I'm going to create the area where I will be doing the hole punch for this, because that white area gets cut out, so I have to make my own area for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and carefully place this tool, and then put some pressure on it, go down and make my line. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the other side here, where I'm going to work on the edge here on this side, making sure that there's not much room left. I don't like having my image move around too much, so the less space it has, the better for the actual image. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here, just seal it once, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut off all the extra pieces of the protector, because it kind of gets in the way if I don't do this now. From here I will then flip it over and seal it one more time, because every time I seal my pouches, I always make sure I do it twice, once in the front and once in the back. Then again, my bone tool, and check to make sure that there's no openings, because sometimes even though you put pressure on your fuse tool, it doesn't mean that it will always seal. So you always want to check that just to make sure everything's sealed together, and then if not, you just go ahead and do another line going down, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and talk about what we'll do next. So here I got a scrap of paper. Now this paper, I did measure the area that it's going to go in. I made sure it was the width that would fit perfectly well into this area. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this with washi tape. Just a note about this: sometimes when you place this on washi tape, the washi or the paper will go on crooked. It doesn't go on straight. That's not a big deal. The main thing is, you can, as long as you cover any of the white, that's fine. Whether you have to trim off some extra washi to cover some white areas, the main thing is you just want to have this as an area to hole punch, to give that calendar divider some sturdiness in case your sheet protector is a bit flimsy. You have some sturdiness with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off any extra washi tape that I have around this white paper that I covered, and then once I'm done with that, I will go ahead and insert this into the gap. Now I will measure, making sure that it's going to be pretty much aligned to the mug, but if I need to trim it, I will pull it out a little bit and trim off as I need. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and push it in with scissors all the way down, and then from here we will add something into the image itself. So I decided to go with some sequins to add inside the pouch. Now usually I like to use glitter, but I don't have pink. I went through all my stuff and I don't have pink. Either I ran out of it. I did have some kind of pink, but it was a pink that I didn't feel like it went well with this particular printable. So I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and use something different. Let's do some sequences. So I'm going to go ahead and use this different type of pink sequence. It looks pretty bright in here on the video, but it's not that bright actually. It actually goes well with this printable, but I'm going to put a few of that from both back and front, and now I'm going to go ahead and seal this. Of course, like always, I'm going to go on the front and the back, then I'm going to check it, and then if I feel like I'm okay with it, I will go ahead and trim that off, and then I'll be done with this, but I'll come back later to do the hole punch. We're going to go ahead and work on April's coffee, which I think is super cute. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm using leftover sheet protector from when I used the March one. It's the same. I'm just doing it all at once here. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the sides, making sure I leave enough gap so I can do the hole punch for this. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, which I'm going to seal it tightly so the image doesn't shift too much. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, do it again, check it before anything else, and then we'll come back and do the next part. So for this one, I decided to go with some glitter, and I decided to go with some gold in this one. I was hoping I had light pink, and I don't have light pink, so I'm a little bummed about that. So I went with the gold. I think it's a nice little touch to it. I'm going to go ahead and, just put a little bit here and there, making sure it's not too much, not too little. Then I'm going to go ahead and create, I'm going to go ahead and seal this. Now, if you notice, I didn't do something. I did not put the sticker, the piece of paper with the washi tape. I just went ahead and sealed it without even realizing I hadn't done that. So I didn't realize that actually until I started trimming the white part. That's when I started to look at it like something was missing. So this is where you're gonna see me having to do some corrections. And also a note to myself, whenever I seal it, I need to make sure I always leave a gap between where I seal and the top of whatever image I'm using, because you just never know. I would hate to waste a whole pouch just because I didn't have enough room to seal it. So just making sure, note to myself that I need to make sure I don't, I always give myself a gap, because you just never know. Thank goodness I gave myself a gap, and you'll see why. So here I go ahead and trim the edge, and then I realize I need to open this. So I'm going to go ahead and just open a little bit here at the top, and just peel off that, part that I cut off. And then I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of scrap paper and get a washi tape that I feel goes well with this particular image. Now the washi tape that I use is one of my newest ones that I got at Michael's. It's a smelly one. It smells like roses. I love this. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully place this onto the washi tape. As you can see, I'm trying a different method. I'm always trying something new just to see what works, what doesn't work. But it's kind of going crooked. If you see, it's a little crooked. Again, not a big deal. I have a way to cover any little white edges that might pop out. Sometimes I just trim those off, really. You don't really have to like try to cover that. Now, if it's a bigger piece, obviously you want to, because you want to, in my case, I don't want to like waste my washi tape. It's a lot of washi tape to lose if I have to start all over. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and trim what I can. I just trim it nicely as long as it's all even. Then I'm going to go ahead, after I trim this, place it into the gap, and then I'll talk to you about what I do next. Now here, the strip that I put in was a little too long, so I pulled it out a bit to give it a bit of a trim so it can be aligned with the cup. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut off that edge where I sealed it, because now I have to reseal the whole thing. So I'm making sure I don't get too close, because I need as much of the gap that I have left to seal it. So I'm going to go ahead and get as close as I can, making sure I have enough room to seal this. Luckily for this tool, it helps me keep the image and everything together without sliding around as I put pressure and put the fuse tool onto it. Now I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing, and then I'll be done with this part. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and start off with the paper clips. Now I'm going to go ahead and start off with the llama ones, and of course now remember that I have to always leave a gap for my paper clips to fit in. So I know now that I just gotta make sure that the top part area and maybe the sides have a little bit of glue, making sure that the inside middle is still has a gap. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now I'm going to get my strip of, I have extra little strips of sheet protector, so I'm going to go ahead and use a small one here. And I thought I would go with this oval shape stencil. It's not made of metal, and so I'm gonna go ahead and tape that, and I'm gonna get my fuse tool, and I'm really careful here. I know I'm getting really close to my fingers doing this, but let me just tell you, I am super careful, and I go really slow when I do this. So I tend to go twice, and as well with this area. This is just the best way for me to do the fuse tool. I tried doing other ways. It actually comes up with more mistakes if I don't have my hand near this. I just have to be really careful, and I need to concentrate with no interruptions of any kind, so that I don't burn myself. So here I'm going to go ahead and trim off the extra pieces, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my paper clip in this before I get my hot glue and glue that into it. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on the mini coffee cup to make a paper clip out of that one. I am going to be using the same paper I just used and the same shape of metal to go around it, the oval one. I think it's a nice fit to this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and place that over that with a piece of tape, and then I'm going to go get my tool and go ahead and seal that around it very gently, because this cup is kind of towards the edge of that tool, but it's luckily I checked it in advance just so you guys know that if I needed to trim anything I did, but it didn't need any trimming. It was fitting perfectly well from the back. So I'm going to go ahead and seal this gently. I'm going to pop it out of the plastic, and then get the paper clip I'm going to use, and of course place it inside and wait until it's time to put the hot glue into that and seal this one together. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the second image that the printable came with. It came with 2 different paperclip ones, and this one's a kettle with the flowers in it, which I love. I think it's super cute. I'm going to go ahead and place this into the sheet, and I'm going to use a circle, but I'm between 2 sizes. I wasn't sure if I wanted this size or the other size, but I decided to go with this size, the smaller size, just because I want it to be as not so much of a gap inside. So I'm going to go ahead, tape it down, and go ahead and seal the edges to this one as well, doing it very gently and not putting too much pressure to the point where it might slip. If you do too much pressure, it can actually slip out of your hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then pop it out, put the paper clip in, and then we're gonna go back and seal them all in with hot glue. So now I'm going to go ahead and start by placing some hot glue to my paper clips, and I'm going to start off with the llama. I'm going to go ahead and put that paper clip in there very carefully where I don't get any of the edges stuck to it, and it looks really cute. Now I'm going to go ahead and seal this. Now if you notice, I didn't put any glitter into this, and the reason for that is because I actually wanted to use baby pink for this, and I don't have baby pink glitter. So that kind of was a little bit shocking because I thought I had all the colors, but I guess I don't. So now I have to make a note to myself, and I might have to go through my glitter, making sure that I have all the colors so that when this happens, you know, at least I know I have it or don't have it. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and just use the paint to go all around it. I think I needed some color, so I went ahead and used baby pink. Luckily I had this color, so I went ahead and did that, and I think it looks actually really nice. I think it made it more, I don't know, I think it looks so much nicer, and it was just, you know, pretty looking. Now I did have a choice to put some sequins inside, but I decided not to because the sequins are too big, and I think it would just not look so good. So for this, I think this paint was perfect, and I just go ahead and did that, gently poured it around it, making sure everything looks nice and covered up. Now just so you guys know, I do 2 coats, but I do it after it dries the first time, because sometimes you don't see that there's they don't dry really well, so then sometimes it separates each other, so then you have gaps, and so that's why it's best to always go back and check on that. So here for the coffee cup, I'm going to do the same thing. Just go ahead and put some glue on my paper clip and put it inside. And again, I wish I had pink, baby pink glitter, because this would have been perfect for that too, but I decided to go ahead and use the paint again, the same paint that I used on the llama. I'm going to use it for this, and again, I think it looks really nice, so I'm kind of glad I did that by using that pink paint to go all around it, since I didn't have the glitter to add inside of it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So for this one, I decided to do also a color for the rim and no glitter inside. Now I did have baby blue glitter, which I could have put inside this one, but I want to try something different because I just bought a new paint one that actually has glitter in it, but I haven't used it, and I don't know how it would look on one of the rims of these paper clips, so I thought I would give it a shot and see how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now We will see after it dries, because obviously when it's wet, it looks not doesn't look really good. It just looks just light blue, nothing special. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this all around it, and then hopefully once it dries, it will look good. And maybe I might have to go and buy some more of these kind with the glitter in it, but we'll see. But for now, I thought we'll just keep the whole thing together. Since no one has glitter inside, let's just keep them all the same. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do this, and then I'm gonna wait for it to dry, and then we will go on to the next part. So now I'm going to go ahead and punch out the holes. I'm going to use the cover of a mini happy planner chest to help me, give me a guide to where I need to make my dots for the place I'm going to be punching the holes in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then I'm going to get my hole puncher and just, make my holes. Then I'm going to get my scissors to cut little slits where the holes are. That way it's easy to put into the planner. And I'll be doing it for both the March and the April. And then from there, I'll be done. So here's the final look to put together the calendar dividers for March and April and their paper clips, and I think they came out really, really nice. I love that I added sequins. It's something different. I was hoping for glitter, but as you guys know, I don't have the color. But I think this one came out really cute, and April I think came out, I mean look at the washi was perfect, and of course it's a smelly washi, so some of the smell is coming through after I hole punched it, and so I love this. And then the paper clips all came out really, really nice, especially this one with the glitter all around it. I think it came out really cool. So I think I'm gonna look into getting some pink glitter paint, because I just need to have some of that. I mean, that would have been better to have that on these and not to have any glitter at all. But you know what, it's okay, because even these, they look actually really nice just plain inside. You enjoy more of the view of the actual image, and you know what, it's still cute and I love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I loved it and I had fun, and I can't wait to do May. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.